Oh, why you no game? A TellTale Games series, Marvel Hero Stories.
Hello there, all you lovely people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Why You Know Game. And I know for like the last 3 weeks, you guys have had like video game footage on the screen, and now you get to see my mug. Nice, huh? But no, this one is called the Telltale Game series, Marvel Hero Stories, and I had actually had this thought quite a while ago, like before I started the series up. And the only reason I hadn't done the video sooner is because I hadn't locked down the name of the series yet. And when and if anybody was listening to the Gamers at Large live reactions to the Game Awards, oh, you guys you hear me get pissed off because I had the thought in mind the whole time. And Telltale Games started like they announced that they're going to be doing DC Comics heroes. And when I was thinking about it back then, I was thinking, well, they could do Marvel, they could do DC Comics, and they could do Marvel Comics with as popular as the superhero thing is right now, and they could build stories off of like the comic books, like take the comic books and turn them into stories that have branching paths. So you could literally play through the comic book story if you wanted to. You could follow the exact path that happens in the comic book, or you could play it in such a way where you change things up, like alter the continuity of what happens in the comic books. And that was a cool concept to me. And I was like, damn, I had that idea. And they're doing it. And I didn't get to say anything before they started. Then it sounds like I didn't have that thought. And I'm like, and this happened a few times. And I'm like, man, it sucks. Like I was thinking about this, and I wanted to do a video on it so bad, but I just hadn't locked down the title of that series yet. Like it took me a few more months apparently to figure out my title. So that's what kind of didn't work it out for me all that well. Now, in the case that I was thinking of for the Marvel Hero Stories, they could actually take the visual novels that Marvel has put out. Like they're basically comic books on a disc, and they have sound and things like that, but it's not all fully in motion. It's like partially animated, but it's basically still a comic book. And and I think some of the stories are kind of quite different because I know my elder brother has a few of them. I've watched them. Uh, there's a couple for X-Men. I think there's like one or two for Spider-Man. Um, I think all of their main heroes kind of have something like this. And I was thinking to myself, like, that would be actually pretty damn cool if they did this. So they could take the visual novel stories, and again, same situation, same thing I was thinking, like with the comics, where there's a way to follow the actual path that the visual novels take, and then there would be branching paths depending on the decisions that you make just to do other things and see what happens within that continuity when you make certain decisions. And that's a great idea for that particular thing, especially if you're somebody who follows the X-Men or the Avengers or any of Marvel's superheroes or DC's superheroes for that fact, doesn't matter. But I'm talking about Marvel for this instance. If you follow the superheroes and you get into their personal lives, you actually get to see how deep these characters are outside of just the gaudy looking costumes that half of them are in. So it's interesting to see how you can affect the different characters' relationships with each other and how they behave around one another by making certain choices with certain characters during really really major situations in those characters' lives. And with the way Marvel and DC are, where they have multiple universes, this is something that could go on for a very long time because you have the original 616 universe for Marvel, you have the Ultimate Marvel universe. There's like several other ones that are very similar that they have. And it would be, to me, it would be honestly a cool thing to do. Like just to see how these situations play out. And obviously they'd have to communicate with Marvel back and forth to get some ideas and get to know what these characters would do in specific situations. And that is where this would be really interesting. Like, also just think about the if you grew up like me and you watched like the old 90s cartoons for like the X-Men, the Spider-Man, and like Fantastic Four, and all those, this would be cool to you because then they could take those stories and kind of flip them around. Like, well, if this happened, what would happen after that? And that's something so super interesting to me. Like, and I know, like, again, like I'm saying, with as popular as comic book characters and superheroes are right this moment, right now, with how popular they are, this is something that would be really cool to see. And again, it would draw in a lot of people. Like, oh, there's a Deadpool game for TellTale Games. Like, I gotta pick that up. And you'd hear him breaking the fourth wall, depending on what you choose. And like, even while you're trying to make a choice, like, hurry up, pick something so I can do it. Like, that would be something interesting to see, especially if you did Deadpool. Deadpool would be a riot. But if they did it, I kind of would request that they actually have Ryan Reynolds voice him, because now I don't want anyone else's Deadpool. Like, I don't want anyone else's Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. I don't want anybody else's Deadpool. Like, that's him. Like, there can be no other Deadpool right now. That is him. He is Deadpool. He has to stay Deadpool. Like, that's all I'd have to ask. But that's sad. And like, but I've thought about it a lot. It's really something I've thought heavily into. And I'm just like, why not? And I'm glad Telltale is making the steps to actually do it. They're probably working with Marvel now, trying to figure something out as far as getting like a story series going. I don't know how far they'll go. I don't know how many games they plan on making, especially with DC. It's kind of obvious they're gonna have a Dark Knight story. They're gonna have a Superman story. They'll probably have a Wonder Woman story because they're like the big three of DC. So that would make sense to do those three characters, to each one of them have like a major story. But I'm also pretty certain that they'll do Justice League. They'll probably do Flash and Green Lantern and stuff like that. Actually, Green Lantern Corps would be really interesting to see. But again, I'm thinking it through as I'm saying it when I'm thinking about those things. But I kind of want to see what they could do with Marvel Comics as well. Like, it would be interesting. It would really, really be interesting. It's not necessarily going to be completely action-packed because, again, we're dealing with also the characters' personal lives and things of that nature. So for some people, that could get boring. To me, it isn't, because I'm invested enough in the characters that I'm interested in their personal lives. I'm interested in the things that they do outside of being heroes. I'm interested in the personal struggles that they go through and things of that nature. But there are plenty of people who are also like me in that mind, that they are interested in those things outside of just the characters being heroes or villains. You gotta count them too. But I think I'm done. There's not much more I can say, because Telltale Games have made like a particular game type. It made themselves famous for that particular game type. But that game type is very flexible in the fact that you can adapt it to multiple different stories, which is a good thing. Like, because those different stories are the reason people would play. But I'm done. Now I'm done. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more of my stuff. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out.